You don't look like you're asleep. I'm here to have sex with you.
Hi, it's Reviews with Jules here. If you're new, make sure to click that subscribe button, and today we are going to be discussing everything there is to know about Netflix's Never Have I Ever. So, let's get into it. Never Have I Ever is created by Mindy Kaling, which you might recognise her from any one of these, and it is a typical teen high school drama. There are 10 episodes of around 20 to 30 minutes in length, and it's available on Netflix. It also did really remind me of To All the Boys I Loved Before, so if you really liked that film, then this series will definitely be one for you. Devi is at the centre of Never Have I Ever, and she is from a Hindu background and is an American Indian girl. Now, after losing the feeling in her legs due to shock of her father having a heart attack in front of her, she then regains them, and then for the next year at high school, she tries to reinvent herself so she's not just that girl in a wheelchair that people sort of brand her as. So she goes after Paxton, who is undeniably the hottest guy in the school, and he sort of agrees, and they sort of try to develop a sort of friendship relationship throughout the series. She also has two best friends, Fabiola, who is a robot genius and tries to come to terms with her sexuality throughout the series, and Eleanor, who is a drama queen. Quite literally, she studies drama, and she also has abandonment issues with her mother. Devi also lives with her mother and her cousin, who has come over to stay. So there's all this sort of high school thing going on, but also the added element of the Indian culture that really ties it together and makes it a little bit more complex, which is what I absolutely loved. Finally, Devi has an intellectual rival called Ben, and you actually see them throughout the series have a really lovely story arc to be sort of rivals, to sort of becoming friends, to maybe potentially coming more. And then you also have this sort of like love triangle between Ben, Paxton and Devi, and they don't really all know it yet, and it's a bit less of a triangle and more of a squiggle until it comes to sort of the very end and it works its way out. I loved this series so much, and I think that might be a little bit more of a personal love because I grew up with a best friend who is from a Hindu Sikh background, and I love their culture, I love their music, I love their bright clothing. Like, it's just such a fabulous culture, and it literally baffles me to why it has not been on screen to show it in all its glory. So having a teen drama like this is so revolutionary in my opinion, and a step in the right direction to diversity and inclusivity within the film and TV industry. Especially the episode Never Have I Ever felt so Indian because it really highlights the conflict that young people have growing up in a sort of Western culture with a contrasting religious background. And I think that is something that was highlighted particularly in this episode, but as an arc over the whole series, and that is a really interesting and, for me, revolutionary piece of TV. So definitely one to watch for that alone. What I didn't really like about this series so much was Paxton. His character was a little bit meh. I kind of felt like he wasn't bringing a lot to the series. His personality wasn't really there. He was just kind of the person that Devi desired, and then that's as far as it went. But you started to see a little bit more happening behind the eyes right at the very end of the series. So hopefully he might develop in the next season. Hopefully there's one. And maybe even have an episode of his own so we really start to understand his character more, because we didn't at all. The ending was quite predictable, and that's the other thing that I didn't really like and felt like it let it down. The series was so innovative by itself that I kind of was a little bit let down by the love triangle, and I know these high school teen dramas have their tropes, which is fine, but the love triangle has been done so many times before, so I definitely feel like they could have maybe gone with a different angle on that one. Talking a little bit about the characters now, starting with Devi, who is caught between two identities and really struggles with that throughout the series. And she's smart, she's endearing, she's sweet, she does turn a little bit selfish, but that awkwardness comes back at the end and she is just such a lovable character. Fabiola, really loved her journey and the whole thread of her opening up to her family about her sexuality. Kamala, who is Devi's cousin, had a particularly interesting storyline, who had a secret boyfriend and an arranged marriage. She's very intelligent and sweet, her heart is always in the right place, and she was definitely the underdog, lovable character of the series. A hilariously awkward teen drama with some really heartbreaking moments and a step in the right direction for diversity and inclusivity, so I gave Never Have I Ever 4 Jules. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and next week I will be reviewing season 2 of Dead to Me. You do not want to miss out on that, so make sure you hit that alarm bell, and in the meantime you can look at these reviews right over here. Ciao for now.